Hi, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back, and some of you may be welcome for the first time. I'm here again for another catch up with Mayo Q&A. See what's going on the last week or so. And yeah, the weather here has been horrendous. I mean, it's been the worst weather. You can't imagine it. Flooding and everything. And we don't usually get that kind of weather here where I am. Flooding, a lot of rain. I think it's on record as one of the worst wet weather days we've ever had here in the area, in New York. Maybe the third highest in some cases. I think I'd heard. And the month of September has been truly a dismal month weather-wise. It has been a lousy month weather-wise. But we hear that this week coming up, next week, is supposed to be sunny, the way I like it, and in the 70s. So I'm happy about that. So, would I rather that or the dreaded snow? No, I'd rather this. I'd rather rain than snow, but that's another story. I'd rather sun than both of them. Um, but just getting here, I see people here. I see Matt, back bacon and beer. Nicholas, hello. Tom Green, doing good. Thank you. Robbie, Detroit's Tiger Man Vinyl. Hello, Robbie. Pirate Gamer Boy. Starman, what's going on? Yeah, the weather is definitely better today than it was yesterday for sure. But you know, I'm drawing a blank on who Judith Durham is. So I like Grace Slick, but I can't really. Hello, Klaus from Denmark. Thank you for saying hi. Okay. Thanks for coming back. Yeah, I'm here. Hello, Danny. What's going on, Danny Ambrosi, the King of Chaos himself? Thank you for being here. Peter Boothroyd, hello, hello. Oh, okay, the lead singer of the Seekers. Well, I prefer, I guess, Grace Slick, but Penny Lane, what's going on? You're in my ears and in my eyes. Hope things are going well with you. I want to tell everybody here at the beginning that I just came from seeing the new movie Saw 10. That's right. I'm going to be doing that on my movie channel. I'm going to be talking about Saw 10. As a matter of fact, if you want to go over to my movie channel, I'm going to be doing Halloween movies for the entire month of October. The goal is to try to have one movie up every day. Talking about one movie every day for the 31 days of October. I really hope so. Hope I can keep that up. I'm going to try. Okay, hi, Mystery Train. Did you see the Sphere in Las Vegas with you too? Lots of Elvis in the Sphere. Nope. Can't say yes. Hello, Beetle Babe. Jen, how you doing? Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Uh, yeah, and I gotta tell you, I liked Saw 10. I really did. In fact, I know a lot of people don't go for those Saw movies, but some of them, like my girlfriend, for instance, they just hear the concept of Saw and they don't want to know. That's it. That's enough for me. I don't want to see it. But what I'll be talking about the movie, it'll be the first movie that I do for October 1st over at my movie channel, which I do have a new name for it that I'm going to use, and it's none of the ones that I put on the poll. I did a poll, which movie names do you like the best? Well, I come up with a new one that is brand new, and it just came by luck. I'll talk about that later. Not necessarily on this chat. They talk about it over at the movie channel. Yeah, they're showing older films, and as a matter of fact, tomorrow I got a big day. They're showing the original Exorcist on the big screen tomorrow, so I'm going to be seeing The Exorcist tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I'm going to be seeing it with my girlfriend. I'm also going to be seeing it with my two nephews and possibly their two girlfriends. So it's going to be a nice group going there, and we have the seats already, and hopefully everything goes smoothly because I'm looking forward to that. Okay, you remember somewhat recently me mentioning a theater rescreening the first Iron Man film as if that was a real old school movie. Yeah, I know. On the big screen, Iron Man, the first one. Ooh, that's really old school. Not really. Not really. Okay, Klaus, that sounds great. Your son will be in New York with you from the 12th of October and in 10 days. Hope we could meet you at the record store. Well, stay in touch somehow, and maybe we'll make an arrangement that I can be there. That would be nice. Wouldn't want to miss you. So let's try that. Are they going to be showing the extended version of The Exorcist? Yes, as far as I understand, it's going to be the longer version. I don't necessarily like that better. I mean, the longer version of The Exorcist does have stuff in it that's nice. That's good extra stuff. But I kind of like the theatrical one. But hello to James Peterson. Your question is kind of cut off. You thought I was talking about the Bo Derek movie when I said 10. No, Saw 10. SAW. Yes, Beetle Babe has a channel, absolutely. And I'm sure she wouldn't mind you subscribing. Okay, what's with the Marquee Moon? What's that all about? That's news to me. But, I'm not going to be using that. I was going to do Mayo's Marquee again. I'm not. I got another one that I like. And it'll be a few days before I'm able to implement that new title on the movie channel because it's just a thing where if you change your movie name to your channel name uh, too often, you have to wait a certain amount of time before it's freed up for you to do it again. Yeah, Beetle Babe has had a channel since 2006. Absolutely, I started my channel 2012. So I'm a late bloomer from Jennifer, aka Beetle Babe. Yeah. So what's going on, folks? Here I am again on a Saturday to do this the way I like it. In my place. I don't have to do it from the other place, the classroom that I go to. But I'm going to be there again eventually doing these. Nope. Don't even suggest titles because I've got it. Appreciate I can't think what the word is, energy. You know. I'm not going to be talking about the new title yet. I'm going to wait till I'm just going to premiere it when it comes. You'll see it. I'm very right now. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. But then again, I've been happy with a lot of the ones in the past. So oh yeah, the weather is usually pretty good here. If you had come anytime this month, I mean September was really bad weather, but it's usually good. So hopefully you'll be all right. You always thought that Yoko Ono was in the Beatles. There's no way anybody could think that Yoko was actually in the Beatles. Okay, let's see. Okay, you went to Goodwill and they had some pretty good albums in the vinyl section. Most were in awful condition. Yeah, it's not worth it most of the time. The only one who can find good stuff at thrift stores is Tim Allen. It seems to be that way. How many movie channel titles? I'm sorry, I keep posting the wrong one. That's the one. How many movie titles have I had before this new one? At least 10, I think. You know. Yeah, I thought of a title and it came along accidentally a little bit, by accident. Sometimes that's the best way things happen. So, James Peterson, I don't know why, well, your comments are not coming out complete. So there you go. So, are there any new box sets or limited editions I'm planning to buy? No, no. I'm trying to think. I wish I could say there are, unless I'm missing anything. No, but who knows if we ever get an announcement of Beatles-related stuff? Maybe, but we're still waiting on that announcement. There's no exact fact yet as to when we're going to get that new Beatles track. Although a lot of the talk right now is John's birthday, October the 9th. So I don't know. Am I looking forward to it? Not as much as I should be. I've always said I'm going to reserve judgment until I hear the finished product. But the song Now and Then, which is what it's going to be, is a song that I've heard already before they reworked it, and I don't like it so far. It's very dull to me and boring. And but that's not the finished product. It's before they reworked it. So let's hear. But I'm not that excited about it, to tell you the truth. I'm more excited for the fanfare that might go along with it. People becoming a little interested in it. But other than that, the song itself, I don't. You should know Mystery Train. Well, maybe you don't. I don't pay any attention to this garbage. When they say Taylor Swift has tied the Beatles records by having the entire top 10 on the charts with her album Midnight, cementing her position as music royalty. That's a load of nonsense, and I'll tell you why. Okay, because if the Beatles playing field was the same when they were doing it as it is now, the Beatles would have had 500 songs. Do you know what I mean? Well, the Beatles only made 200, a little over 200 songs, but you get my meaning. The Beatles could have did that and more if the playing field was the same, if they counted streaming, if every single song counted on an album. Back then, the way it was you had to put a 45 out. You had to put an actual record, 7-inch 45 piece of plastic. And people had to buy that, physically buy that. Okay, if every single Beatles track, if a lot of Beatles tracks were on Spotify or something back in the '60s, if they had it, right, then all of them would have went to. You would have had like 100, something like that. Every album track would have went up there. I don't go by. I don't match today's platform with the way it was back in the '50s, '60s, '70s, '80s, or even '90s. No, I'm sorry to say nobody helped me come up with my new title. I did it myself, which I'm happy with. And I'll explain it, at a later time. Okay. I didn't know the name of that album. Okay. All right. That's the only one you have. Yeah, I love the U.S. albums. Grew up on them. All right. I don't care about Lady Gaga. I really don't. And I gotta say, the Rolling Stones, in a way, I'm a little disappointed in them. Why are the Stones relying on Paul McCartney, Lady Gaga, and who else is on? Other people are on too on a Stones album. I don't know. I mean, it's nice that Paul is playing a bass on a track, but I never known the Stones to have to fall back on that. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, there's an opinion from Matt. Yes, cool Frankenstein and Wolfman poster. Yeah, love classic horror movies. Well, John, if you do, please subscribe to my other channel, my movie channel. Right now, it's called Mayo. What is it? Movie Boomer Mayo. I like the baby boomer title, but there's going to be a new title, so don't worry about it. Uh, okay. Okay, Matthew Smith. Thank you for weighing in on that album. Bela Lugosi, the best Dracula actor to me, absolutely, absolutely. He is Dracula. He embodies Dracula. Everything was kind of like influenced by him. You know, even Sesame Street, the character called the Count, and that Hungarian accent that they have. You know, everybody imitates Dracula. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. So for me personally, thank you very much, John. Check it out. Yeah. Well, that's what happens, Klaus. Exactly. When you watch the series that I do, Record Store Reality, which I urge everybody to check out. Look it up, Record Store Reality. It's a fun record store series with a bunch of characters. What a cast! Yeah, and after a while, you get to feel you know them. I'm glad that you get that feeling. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, someone made a video about if a new U.S. Capitol vinyl set would be good or not. He said at the beginning, the Capitol albums are mocked by purists, loved by first and second generation fans. I guess that's accurate. I really don't care. Oh, absolutely. I know the movie I Was a Teenage Werewolf. It's one of my 1950s favorites. I agree with you. I Call Your Name on the Capitol version is much more exciting. Absolutely. I agree. There's more oomph. There's more oomph and backbone to some of those Capitol versions. I really feel that way. Uh, yeah, I'm not expecting much either, Matt, from the new Beatles song now. Twist and Shout is the most popular song on Apple Music of the Beatles. Do I think that should be their most popular? I heard somewhere that "Here Comes the Sun" was the most streamed. I don't know. Again, I really don't. I really don't place too much in that. Do I think it should be? Why not? Of course, the Beatles didn't write it. It's not a Beatles original, but it's a great recording, great rock song. Their cover. That's very nice of you to say that, Robbie. I really appreciate that. Your videos make my day. Oh, thank you. Well, and you make my day. You've made my day. Thank you. Because, you want to think that people enjoy what you do, and I know a lot of you do, and some don't. They don't have. Not everybody has. Not everybody likes everything. God knows I'm very vocal in saying things I don't like. But I appreciate anytime somebody appreciates it. Thank you. That feels really good. Yeah, tonight Svengoolie is showing Trilogy of Terror. I saw that movie when it first premiered. It's a made-for-TV movie in 1975 with Karen Black. It tells three different stories. It's an anthology film. The stories pretty much suck, except for the last story, which is a classic about a foreign doll that she purchases that comes to life and runs around the apartment trying to kill her. And that's great. Now, it was really scary stuff in 1975. It really was. But we've seen so much. I don't think it holds up as much as it did, I'm sorry to say, now. But, yeah. Okay, you don't care about the new Beatles song for a specific reason that I won't name, but you can probably guess. No, I really don't know why. Let me know why. Here Comes the Sun is number one. Yes, the guy from I forgot who it was, the Harry Potter. Yeah, yes, my girlfriend knows about that. She loves Harry Potter. you know. And I said today that I went to see Saw 10. What was funny is my girlfriend and I, we went to breakfast, had a lovely breakfast, and then we decided to go to a movie. We never go to the movies. And it's like, what do we want to see? What do we want to see? And there's nothing we want to see very often anymore. So she will have no use for Saw 10. She does not like, horror films, in particular, gory horror films. So she didn't want to see Saw 10. So she talked me into seeing that movie, A Haunting in Venice, which is supposed to be very good, about the detective Hercule Poirot, if I said that right. Anyway, we get to the movie theater and we see that Saw 10 is playing there, and A Haunting in Venice is playing there. And they're playing roughly the same time, and they're finishing up the same time. So my girlfriend says, "Why don't we go in separate theaters?" So that's what we did. She went to see A Haunting in Venice, which, to tell you the truth, that's what I call a horror movie for people who don't like horror movies. You know, and I went to see Saw 10, which I thought was really good. So then right afterwards we met. It was perfect timing. So there you go. Yes, indeed. Yes, Beetle Babe says her mom said she was terrified of the one with the doll. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. It's worth seeing. I appreciate that, Klaus. Thank you very much. Others would beg to differ, and do I think I am? No, I modestly say, but appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, Karen, it's so good to see you here, Karen. It's been a long time. That trilogy of terror gave me the creeps back then. I would be interested to see it now. Absolutely. Anybody who saw it back then. And I didn't usually get creeped out by things. I was 13 when it was on. And I usually like horror films, but I always liked them because I thought they were cool. They were neato. They were groovy, baby. Cool. You know, I didn't. They were interesting. I didn't really get scared or intense by most of them, but Trilogy of Terror, the doll story, was pretty intense. Okay, I didn't hear the new Stones track yet, Matt. So Matt likes it. How's Ed from the King's Court doing? I don't know. Have I talked to him lately? Well, I talk to him a lot of times when I run into him at the record store. We go to the same record store a lot, and then we say hello. But I haven't talked to him since then. Seems to be doing okay. Yep. Ah, yeah, I was thinking about going to the record store. There was a big record store in there. Julio and Richie were there. I'm kind of disappointed that Julio didn't even ask me. I mean, I thought of calling him and asking if he was going, and I told him I might be interested. I'm very, very, but hey, look, I can't say, hey, why didn't you call and ask me if to go with you, or But then again, who am I to talk? I didn't call him either. So there you go. I have to agree. I have to shamelessly agree with you. I do put my heart into my videos, and I am honest. Yes, I am, and sometimes it comes back to bite me in the foot. But nevertheless, I don't see the. I really appreciate that. Makes your videos authentic. I like to think that everybody's got something. I guess that people who watch them, they have something that appeals to the viewers. And I'm glad. Again, people have told me that, and I appreciate it. Okay, what is Blood Vessel on about here? Ah, the record show was empty. Oh, okay. Well, that would have been good, actually. Not good for the vendors, but it'd be good for the buyers, I think. Horror films for your movie show. Now, I'm not going to do Creep Show. I'm not going to do Creep Show, and I haven't seen Massacre of the Red Death in a long time. But Jane Asher is in that. Paul's girlfriend, Jane Asher. I own it, but I won't be doing Creep Show. I'm sorry, and I doubt I'll revisit Massacre of the Red Death. So But yeah, I'm really trying to build an audience for my movie channel. Originally when I did it, the idea was going to be that it was primarily, just exclusively really horror and science fiction movies. And I'm not just going to do those. I'm going to expand it, to any kind of movie. But basically, my movie channel is basically television and movies both, and it could be anything. It could be horror, science fiction, western, drama, comedy. Maybe some romance here and there. Jeez, yeah, little girl. Maybe, who knows? But with an emphasis on the 20th century. That doesn't mean there's not going to be any 21st century movies from today on there. There will be. As a matter of fact, today I Saw 10, so the first thing I'm going to do for October is do Saw 10, and there you go. No, I have not seen that movie, Matt. I've heard of it. Did I say 19th century? I hope I said 20th century. Did I say 20th century? I hope I did. The 20th century. I love the 20th century. Hate the 21st century. 21st century sucks. As a matter of fact, there's a T-shirt I'm going to buy that I've seen. It has the 20th Century Fox movie logo, and it says 21st century instead of Fox. That sucks. I love that. I love it. Oh, any movie from? Am I going to do any movies from the 19th century? No, probably not. If I happen to see anything great, once in a while I'll do some silent films. Right now I have one silent film. I think one silent film review on my movie channel. It's a movie called The Penalty, starring Lon Chaney Sr. So, okay, John, you saw Ringo and the All Stars a couple of weeks ago. A fun show, a splendid time was guaranteed for all. Excellent, excellent. He's still doing it. 83 years old. As long as he can, let's go. What's going on, everybody? I always say that when we get a dead time. Yeah, silent movies. I tell you, I'm not big on silent movies either. I prefer sound movies, but I got to say I've seen a good amount of silent movies, the best ones, and some of them are really powerful. You wouldn't think so, but for their day, they're really involving, and some of them really really do good effects for the times. You know. The only thing is, I don't like reading subtitles and stuff usually. I think your plans for October's uploads on the movie channel might get you into the groove of posting all the time over there. Oh, I hope so, Jennifer. I really hope so. I really do. Because I really got to put more content on there. I really do. I have never been to London to visit Abbey Road, and that's where I want to go the most in England. Never been to England. Period. Yes, I'd like to check out Liverpool. Yes, I'd like to do all the stops, Strawberry Fields, and all that. But if I could only go to one place, it would be Abbey Road to cross the street. If somebody said you could just go to one location, what would it be? It would be crossing the street, Abbey Road. Also, I'd like to go into EMI, into the studio where the Beatles actually recorded their music. You know, yeah, Nosferatu is good, absolutely. Although Lon Chaney is not in Nosferatu, just I don't know if just so you know. Okay, fun fact: Technicolor is still a thing. Camera companies use Technicolor. It's not naturally colored. I think it's rebranded. Okay, and Beetle Babe is hoping that her similar upload schedule for the holiday months will kick me more into gear for doing more TV movie reviews regularly too. Check out Beetle Babe. Hit that like button if you love Mayo. In other words, hit that funky S sign with the lines in it if you like. I'm not going to complain. Ah, very nice. Would love to be your Beatles guide there. Been there a billion times. Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I could use a guide. I'm going to need a guide. If I go, when I go. I like to say when I go rather than if. One day it's going to happen. So I like to say when rather than if. Yeah, it's funny. Nosferatu, Blood Vessel, is also playing at a theater, around, now it's a little bit of a drive, but it's playing on a double feature with the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, two silent classic horror films, back to back in one night. And they have actual organ accompaniment, live accompaniment being played while you watch. But I didn't go. I might still have time to go. So, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think people pretty much know where Paul lives over there. Yeah, absolutely. Not too happy with people following him. Yeah, I don't know that film, Phantom Carriage. Yeah, it's a cinema arts center. Yes, I did see A Hard Day's Night in the early '80s. Yeah, they when they brought it back for a while, I think 1982. And when they brought it back, they did play "I'll Cry Instead." They had a little montage of images. They tried to make a little mini video for "I'll Cry Instead," which is not in the movie, although it's on the album. Okay, guess we're talking about Paul's address. I did see the Anthony Quinn Hunchback of Notre Dame one time, but I honestly don't remember it. I did see it, and I don't remember much about it. I thought Gina Lola Brigida is really pretty. She's in it, but I don't remember it. The Charles Lawton Hunchback is great. I've never really, I believe it or not, I've never watched the Silent Lon Chaney one all the way through. I have it. I think it's been remastered. It's 100 years old this year. The Lon Chaney Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's 100 years old this year, 1923. No, that I'll Cry Instead montage was on the HBO airing too from around the time. Yeah, and it was also the first DVD. I think it was on a DVD release that I got, an MPI. I think it was from 1982. Richard Lester wasn't happy with that added montage. Well, the only thing, I mean, A Hard Day's Night is a classic, and I really can't really say anything bad about it. But trying to be like critical in an objective sense, the only thing I don't like is that they reuse songs. They do "Can't Buy Me Love" twice. They do "If I Fell" twice. They do "I Should Have Known Better" twice. Things like that. I mean, why the hell couldn't they use "Any Time at All"? Things we said today. There were other songs they could have done. Like I think "Any Time at All" would have been great. Like during the scene where they're trying to bust Ringo out of prison, and they say, let's go find Ringo. And, he says, and Victor Spinetti's panicking, but we've only got 20 minutes or whatever it is. And then you hear, anytime at all. And they start running. And it's like, and the lyrics too, anytime at all you got to do is call and I'll be there. It's like they're helping Ringo anytime at all if you need help. That would have been perfect during the police scene, I think. And during the concert montage, they tried to do You Can't Do That. They didn't use it. There's footage of You Can't Do That. They didn't use it in the end. Should have. They could have done Things We Said Today. Things We Said Today would have been a great song off the album to use during the concert segment instead of repeating If I Fell again. And, I should have known better again. Yeah, do I have it handy here? Oh man, I think if I look over here, Beetle Babe, I might actually. I don't have it within reach. Oh, yes, I do. Hold on. This one here, the original one, this one from 1982, before you were born. I actually bought this. This is not the same copy of it. This is not the same one. I don't have my copy anymore. MPI home video. Yeah, this has the montage on it. There you go. Oh, you have to remedy that. If you haven't seen A Hard Day's Night in full, you must. You must. Very easy. It's only 90 minutes or so. Yeah, well, oh, definitely. Magical Mystery Tour. To me, Magical Mystery Tour is just videos of the songs, really. But I enjoy it for what it is. It's less than an hour. It's like 50 something minutes or something. But I can enjoy it. Uh, let's see. I see some interesting people here. Hold on a minute. Things to be said today was never intended for the film. It was actually supposed to be given to the Searchers. Okay, thank you, Starman. But it would have been nice in the film. But there's other songs they could have used as well in there. For the concert segment. And I'm drawing a blank on all the songs now. But uh, what's my favorite '70s movie or two? Oh, I don't know. I always go through the same ones that pop out in my mind. Stuff like The Sting, The Exorcist, American Graffiti, Jaws. You know, I like the Omega Man science fiction movie, the Andromeda Strain, Willard. Well, there's a lot of them. Okay. Okay, Rachel's Ghost says first time commentator, long time fan. I think if this is the real Rachel's Ghost, I think that you have commented before. Nice to see you here. Of course, once in a while I do watch Rachel's daily for the most part. Chat over her channel. You might want to go over there and check it out. With a lot of anything and everything can happen over there. And a lot of times I have strong opinions against some of the on screen participant, but I keep it under wraps. It's not easy. Okay, Paul was renting a house here in Pasadena or Altadena, California. A few years ago, he ate at a local restaurant. They gave him a private room. He was drawing too much attention. A Mexican restaurant. Cool. Yeah, and Beetle Babe is. I think there are other people that like Magical Mystery Tour. Well, these days I enjoy it for what it is instead of bitching about what it isn't. I just look at it as a crazy, zany, insane, mind altering chemicals induced trip down psychedelic memory lane of 1967, The Summer of Love. And I accept it for that, along with a lot of good music videos thrown in. So I can enjoy it. If they could have done basically what they did with And I Love Her, but switched the things we said today, I think I would have liked that more. Okay, that's reassuring to know, Rachel. Alfred Hitchcock, a great director. I have not seen all his films, I'm ashamed to say, but I like a lot of them. Psycho, The Birds. What's that one I like with Joseph Cotton? I always get the name wrong. Tell me what that is. I always forget the name of it. The Joseph Cotton one. The man who. What's the other one I like? Oh boy, forgetting the names. Rear Window, Frenzy, Rope. I like Rope, but what's the one? I always forget the name. Stranger. What is the name of it? Uh, yes, good question. Thank you for asking. Ringo has a new video up, interview up uh, by AP, and if I'm to be honest, look, we first of all, we all know that Ringo looks fantastic. Ringo looks fantastic for 83. Any of us would kill to look as good as Ringo does. And but I am noticing he seems a little slower, a little more sluggish, a little more aged. But that does. But see, again, right away people will jump at that, and I hate that. They'll say, "Oh, you're insulting Ringo." No, I'm not. I'm just trying to give you my exact feeling. At times when he seems really full of vim and vigor, I tell you. But he could also be tired from the touring schedule. He's exhausted. But anyway, but he did mention in that interview that was, interesting, is he said that the song, the new Beatles song, Now and Then, everybody's talking about this quote, should have been out already. He said it should have been out already, and he doesn't know what the delay is, I think. But I remember him saying it's not up to me, it's up to them, the company or whatever, to decide what they want to do with it. But I think they've had it ready for some time now. And of course, how did I forget Soylent Green, one of my favorite 1970s movies? They should have put the instrumentals of I'm Happy Just to Dance with You and I Love Her on the album, the scene with Frankie Howard in Help. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Am I a fan of Rob Zombie's movies and music? Let me tell you this. The first Rob Zombie movie I ever saw was The Devil's Rejects, and I loved it. I thought it was a modern day retelling of, say, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. A really good, grimy, gritty, no holds barred exploitation kind of film. I didn't see the first one, House of a Thousand Corpses. I missed that. But I saw how The Devil's Rejects. And then everything else I've seen after that sucks. Okay, I didn't like Zombies Halloween 1, I didn't like Halloween 2, and I didn't like The Munsters, that stupid needless remake that he did. But yeah, as far as Rob Zombie's music, I never heard it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad we agree on there. Ah, Hard Day's Night should have had more Patty Boyd. Oh, baby, baby. Yeah. Not The Third Man, the other Joseph Cotton Hitchcock movie. Shadow of a Doubt. Shadow of a Doubt, I believe. I love that movie. I mean, that's a good one, Hitchcock. And Vertigo is a movie that I need to give another view. I saw Vertigo only once on a really cheap and chintzy VHS videotape, and I thought it was what an overrated bore. Driving around, seeing things, and watching people. I thought it was the most boring thing. Strangers on a Train was pretty good. Rear Window, I like. Yes, yes, I like that. I've seen, wow, North by Northwest with Cary Grant. It's a little confusing, the plot, but it's good. There you go. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Magical Mystery Tour, back to back with the Monkeys film Head. Yeah, I like the Monkeys movie Head better than Magical Mystery Tour. Yeah, The Devil's Rejects was. I mean, I really was impressed with that movie. Saw it in the movie theater. I'm starting to mute the microphone when I swallow. You can hear gloop. You hear everything. It's interesting you should mention this. We were just talking about Martin Scorsese, my girlfriend and I. She doesn't like Scorsese. Me, it's hit and miss. You know, a lot of times I'm not a person who really believes it's all about the director. I mean, you could argue with Hitchcock as an exception. You could say Alfred Hitchcock has a certain style, a certain way about his movies. You could say that Quentin Tarantino has a certain style about his movies. You know, maybe even Stanley Kubrick has a certain feel and style. I don't know about Martin Scorsese. I like some Scorsese movies, but I still got a lot to see. I love The King of Comedy. I love After Hours. Um, but I mean, there's a lot of classics I haven't seen. I've never seen Mean Streets. I saw Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a movie I saw like twice, and it was good, but I'm kind of tired of it. I don't need to see it really anymore. The microphone mute is good for belching also. You didn't even know I did a few while we're here. I have not seen New York, New York. No, afraid not. I don't know. I didn't know that movie. The Lords of Salem. I didn't know about that movie. Okay, now Casino is a movie that I've got. I just got it on DVD, and I've seen scenes from it. I've seen Joe Pesci's death scene. I've seen the scene where Joe Pesci tells the guy that in the bank, the banker or whatever he is, what he's going to do to him. In the bank if he doesn't have his money. So it looks like a movie I'm really looking forward to seeing, and I'm waiting for it's over 2 hours, I think. So I'm waiting for the right time, the right evening when we can watch it. Taxi Driver again. Taxi Driver is a movie that I saw once on VHS tape, and I didn't personally didn't see what was such a big deal about it. It was good, but not great. I thought. Since then, I've got the Blu-ray of it recently, and I have to give the Blu-ray another spin, which I haven't. First time spin, actually. You know. Back to Scorsese, though, I would say, oh yeah, A Bronx Tale. I saw that and I did like that. Yes, A Bronx Tale. That's a good one. Back to Scorsese. I did not really appreciate his work on. Did he do a Bob Dylan documentary, No Direction Home? Was that him? I didn't think that was that exceptional. And I also don't think much of Scorsese's Living in the Material World, George Harrison documentary. That George Harrison documentary has a lot of good footage in there and a lot of good rare stuff to watch. But they left out a big chunk of George's life in there, and it's more like too much Beatles in it, and it's like anthology light, Beatles anthology light. So make sure if you watch New York, New York, to put the happy endings scene back into it. Well, I'm a big fan of happy endings in general, so yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have not seen The Irishman. I'm kind of leery about the aging process or de-aging process in there. Okay, do you like Ringo 2012, the album? Well, there's some really good tracks on it. My favorite track on it is actually the version, a redo actually, of the song Wings, which Ringo recorded in 1977, first time, off the album Ringo the Fourth. He redid it on Ringo 2012, and I think that version, updated version of the song Wings, is one of the finest recordings Ringo's ever done of any song. And he's got a couple of other songs. I like the song Anthem. It's okay. He does a good version of Buddy Holly's Think It Over, which I like. And I'm trying to remember what else I liked on that album. There are not a lot of tracks on it. Oh, that's cool. That's good that movie theaters are still playing old movies. That is good. That is good. Yeah, I'm happy when they do that because. But I wish when they show old movies, they wouldn't always show like classics only. You know? Like, they show the usual ones, Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, whatever, but they don't show like offbeat movies that much. I think you and 200 million other people, Robbie, would pick that as their favorite. When you say first album, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if you wait a minute. I don't know if you mean Sentimental Journey, or if you're talking about the self-titled Ringo album, actually, which Ringo sometimes considers his first real album. You're talking about Sean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think was the last Tarantino movie, and I don't love that movie either. Everybody goes on and on about that movie. I think it's one of his weakest, actually. I keep saying I think it's a very good looking film. I think when you watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you get the feeling that it's really 1969. He really nails that, but it doesn't go anywhere really. Yeah, I'm not the biggest De Niro fan. I like De Niro, I like Pacino, but I think I prefer Pacino if I'm going to pick between the two. No Matthew Street. I never saw that movie, Paris, Texas. Beetle Babe was snoozing, a snooze fest. It has good ambiance and good '60s vibe, but I wanted something more out of it. Okay, Robbie was in fact talking about Ringo's very favorite excuse me, first album, Blue Cruise Blues, as his favorite. This year, though, what's your favorite Boris Karloff movie? That's impossible to say because Karloff has so many movies. I think his best acting performance, it has to be seen by everybody who likes that stuff, is a movie from 1945 called The Body Snatcher. It's a Robert Louis Stevenson story, and Bela Lugosi has a good role in there too. But The Body Snatcher is not to be mixed up with the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They have a similar title, but it's a different one, different movie. I think that's his finest performance. Of course, if I was going to pick my favorite Boris Karloff movie, I love the movie Targets. You have to see Targets, one of Karloff's final films, 1968, is really good. And of course, Bride of Frankenstein, you know. He's got a movie from 1935 called The Black Room where he plays twins. One is evil, one's good, and he's great in that. Yes, I do love. I love Carlito's Way. Absolutely, it's one of my very favorite Pacino movies, and one of my favorite Brian De Palma movies. Yes, have not seen that. No. Cujo, I've actually never seen either. I'm missing a. I haven't seen Christine. I haven't seen Cujo. I saw Salem's Lot. I didn't like Salem's Lot the movie. I liked Salem. I love Salem's Lot the book. I saw Carrie. Well, the original Carrie movie is good. And I love Misery. Misery is my favorite Stephen King movie that I've seen so far. Yeah, Carlito's Way is really good. Sean Penn is also excellent in there. Sean Penn is fantastic in Carlito's Way. Highly recommended. I do not have the Horzu version of Ringo's Bukus of Blues. Actually, don't. No, never saw Christine. And not only that, Christine was actually brought back to that theater that I mentioned a lot. Recently, I actually had the opportunity to see it at the theater again. Yes, I agree. John Leguizamo was great in Carlito's Way. Very good. Benny Blanco from the Bronx. Yeah, I really like that movie. That gets a lot of spins from me, and also the woman in there, was it Penelope Ann Miller? She's pretty. I like her in that movie too. Oh, I don't agree. A lot of people like it, Matthew. A lot of people like it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but uh, you know, I'm not one of them. Oh, that's a frightening thought. Oh my! Imagine your dad naming his car Christine due to the movie. What's my favorite actor who played in a Hitchcock movie? Oh, that's a tough one. That's so tough. You want to say you want to say not Ray Milland. Wow, Jimmy Stewart, but I might have to go with Anthony Perkins and Psycho. I might have to. You know, Anthony Perkins maybe. But I haven't seen enough of them. You know, of course I like Jimmy Stewart and Rear Window. Hey, here's some appreciation for Ken Michaels, my Talk More Talk co-host. I think they already did a Christine reboot. I'm not sure of that, but I know that if they haven't done one yet, yes, I heard they're making one, but I heard something about another one. My favorite TV show from the '70s, there are many. Again, how can I pick it? I'm going to go with The Odd Couple off the top of my head. The Odd Couple may be my favorite TV show from the '70s, with All in the Family right there, tied pretty much. So you got The Odd Couple, you got All in the Family, and then you got Trying to think. I don't want to. I don't want to forget anything. But I know I'm forgetting things because there are other ones I like. Happy Days, but I only like Happy Days for 2 or 3 seasons, then it gets crazy. Thank you, Scarred God. I hope you will. I hope you will. There's going to be a lot of movie content coming. Yep, October. I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to do a horror movie a day. Yeah, yeah. I agree. Sean Penn is great acting in Carlito's Way. There's another Ken Michaels. Thumbs up. Do I think Yoko will see 100? Well, it's while it's a morbid question, I'll give it an honest answer. I don't know what to expect. I mean, Yoko turned 90, and her health is not good as far as we understand. Not very good. So I don't know really. I'm doubtful, sadly, unfortunately. But there you go. I'm not a Columbo guy, but then again, in all fairness, I haven't watched a lot of Columbo to really see. You know. Oh, the weather's terrible. I hate it, Matt. Every time we go out now, it's like here I am in a t-shirt, right? And I went to the movies today, but you step out the door, it's, oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's a little cool out there. I can't just go out in my t-shirt. No, no. I got to go and I got to get right now. It's a sweatshirt, with the hood, sweat jacket. Put the jacket with the hoodie, on and do that. Pretty soon I'll be putting on that big stuffy winter coat, zipping it up, gloves, the whole shebang, which I think sucks. So there you go. I agree with you on that, and everybody's always complaining and saying Yoko's a heroin addict and all these things and everything. Look, you have to look a long way to find somebody that opposes drug use more than me. I don't condone it, especially something stupid like H. But if she's doing it that much, she's staying alive amazingly well. You know, so I don't know about that. Am I a Seinfeld guy? Part time. I know a bunch of Seinfeld episodes. I don't know it by heart. I don't know every episode. Haven't seen every episode, but I do like it. Kolchak, The Night Stalker. I do not like that TV show, but I do love the movie that inspired it. The first movie, The Night Stalker, from 1971, with the vampire, is one of my favorite TV movies. It was great. And the second movie that made for TV called The Night Strangler, that was also good. So I like The Night Stalker and I like The Night Strangler, but the actual television show, to me, it can't match those movies. Never did for me. Yeah, Dave, we mentioned this already, but thank you for bringing it up. Yeah, tonight, Trilogy of Terror on Svengoolie. I would advise people to, if they like a good horror story, to watch Trilogy of Terror, but there are 3 stories, and only the last one is worth waiting for. The last story is worth waiting for. I've never seen Apocalypse Now. It's just not a topic that interests me, even though it's a great film. What do I think about the Godfather movies? I think my favorite is Part One. Definitely my favorite. People sometimes say they like Part Two better than Part One. I think Part One is far and away the best. Part Two is the second best. Although this, I don't like it as much as the first. The third one is obviously the least, Godfather 3. But I enjoy watching it because I like to see kind of like I don't know what you call it, Michael getting his just desserts. He's trying to make it. He's trying to make amends for the wrongs he's done, but he's done so many awful things that he can't escape it. You know the old line, every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. But I do like Godfather 3 anyway as the saga to see Michael's comeuppance, so to speak. You know, Andy Garcia's got a couple of good moments in Godfather 3. Yeah, Treasure of the Sierra Madre, that's a good one. Well, some people like to say that Yoko Ono was doing heroin her whole life, including recent years, and whatever. People got to mind their own business, really. And to me, she's been pretty damn healthy her whole life, or recent years, up to the present. She's 90 now. She did pretty well for a person that was allegedly always on heroin. So there you go. Yeah, you're right about this. I hate that. To this day, people won't give her a break about anything. Very resilient on a personal level to overcome all that has been thrown at her. You're right, Starman. So right. And it's pathetic. People need a scapegoat to whip. They need somebody to hate on. They need somebody that anything they do, they can't blink right, they can't breathe right, they can't sneeze right. Anything they do, they're on. Kind of reminds me of a public figure, a male public figure. Kind of a lot like that. Hello, you know my name. Yes, Love American Style. I remember when Love American Style was on in the 70s. You had a great Friday night lineup. You had the Brady Bunch, followed by the Partridge Family, followed by Room 222, followed by The Odd Couple, and then at 10 o'clock was Love American Style. And that was like, don't let the kids see that. That's too racy, right? That was as racy as it got for us. And it was still, it was about jokes about dating and love and all that. Hello, Alex. My favorite Twilight Zone episode. There are many of them. First of all, one of my very favorites is the one with William Shatner when he's on the airplane. Terror at I don't know how many feet. That's one of my very favorites. Another one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes is something about I know the name of it and I forget. Is it the Fading Sun or the something Sun? You know the one I mean. It's the one about the woman who it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter and trying to survive. You know, I like that. Those are among my favorites. Jeff Jefferson says the third Godfather is still very watchable. I agree. Hey, Gerard. Very good. Any good comic stores to visit when you visit New York? Well, again, I don't know if you're going to be in New York City or Long Island. If you're in New York City, there's plenty of places, but all you got to do, they're everywhere. All you got to do is look them up. Google, and you'll find millions. Okay, James, thank you very much for being here. You know my name. Wants to make a suggestion? Please do, if you like. Looking forward to Ringo's album, Rewind Forward. A lot of people hate the new stuff, but for me, just having fun. Yeah, well, I'm October 13th. Well, 2 weeks or so. We'll have Ringo's new EP. You know, Night Gallery. It's funny also that you would think a guy like me that grew up in the 60s and 70s would know Night Gallery, but I don't. Never seen Night Gallery. Okay, is $74 too much for the Beatles' Hey Jude album in the shrink? Now, do you mean sealed or open? If it's open shrink, just sliced on the opening, that's way too much. But a lot of it depends on where you go. I mean, an album like that with the shrink wrap on would be maybe $20 at my record store. If it's sealed, it could go if it was sealed, it could go for $75. I guess 50 to $75. If it has the original label on it. Excuse me, I got to see what this is. Uh, if it has the original label on it, then that says "Hey Jude" in the red letters. That could be over $100 more dollars, I would think. So I don't know about Cagney and Bogart if they got along or not. I'm in a winter wonderland. Thank God. Look, I don't get into this global warming thing or climate change thing a lot, but I'll tell you this. Last winter, we got no snow. Praise God. If it is getting warmer with the winter, take it, please. Yeah, I agree with you, Beetle Babe. I got a message from someone saying, there you go, one just for you. And I have not looked at it yet, but it's something I was thinking about from the person, and I'm really hoping that this is what I think it is. When this person said one just for you, I gotta look at it later. I haven't seen it yet. Okay. Oh, Dave. Hello, Dave. Well, that's nice. That's nice. Well, like I say, look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. This channel here is a no Yoko bashing zone. Now, there's not many rules I have here. You could pretty much say just about anything. I don't talk about politics really, but in the comments, you could say just about anything you want. If you don't like Yoko, you can say you don't like Yoko. If you don't like her singing, if you don't like her things about her, you could say it. But when you start getting really nasty and stupid and sinister and attacking her like that, those comments I delete. And the reason I mainly do it is because everywhere else on the internet, you can bash Yoko to your heart's content. Everybody does. Okay? But nobody's going to do it here. Not while I'm the one running the channel anyway. But again, people sometimes misconstrue that and say, "Oh, you don't let people have a negative opinion." You can say it all day long. You can say, "I don't like Yoko's singing." You can say, "I don't like the fact that I feel personally, in my opinion, Yoko controlled John." You can say all those things if you just phrase it right. That's fine. Well, that's the way to look at it, really. Whenever we think of Yoko, she made John Lennon happy. And that's the main thing. So if you want him to be happy because you like John, even though we may not understand it, we may not understand why he went for that particular woman, he was happy. So there you go. And as far as like this thing about Yoko being controlling John like a dog on a leash, he had definite opinions. John died, almost 43 years ago, so he can't tell you from the grave what he thinks of you people that think that he's being controlled. But luckily, before he died, he said this to Playboy.
Nobody controls me. I'm uncontrollable. Fuck you, brother or sister. You don't know what's happening.
Okay, there you go. I'm so glad he had a chance to say that before anything happened. So yeah, Karen Valentine, who we know from Room 222. Absolutely. Have I ever seen a photo of Abbott and Costello, Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy hanging out together? No, I don't think it exists. Yes, Karen Black is in. Not to, Karen Valentine and Karen Black. Let's not get them mixed up. Karen Black is in Airport 75. Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, I like that Sun episode of Twilight Zone. It does have a twist ending, and so do a lot of them. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I agree with you, Starman. It remains astounding and bewildering that even now, people who claim to understand and appreciate John as an individual will be so negative to Yoko. He loved her. What more do you need to know? There's a quote also from John. He says that anybody who claims to be interested in me as an individual artist or even as a member of the Beatles has absolutely misunderstood everything I ever said if they can't see why I'm with Yoko. And he's right. Now, this you say you assume I'm changing the movie channel name to grow the channel. No, I'm not actually. If it helps, great. But even William Shakespeare said, "What's in a name?" Okay, and the thing is, I like a catchy name. I want a name that I feel is comfortable and says what I want it to say for my channel. I don't think a channel can grow just on its name alone. That's not realistic. No, the reason my movie channel, hasn't grown is because I haven't been nurturing it. I haven't been putting a lot of steady videos on it. So I'm going to do that. If you want to go over and subscribe to help me, I appreciate it. But the name is going to change in about a week or less, anywhere from maybe like 4 or 5 days, something like that. And the movie channel right now, if you want to type it and go over there, is called Movie Boomer Mayo. Movie Boomer Mayo, as in baby boomer. Okay. Okay. Oh no. No, no. Say it ain't so. The wrong person. Oh. Yeah, well, John said if it is Yoko's fault for breaking up the Beatles, can she have the credit for all the great music that they've made, since they broke up, Yeah, it's hard to say if I love or hate someone, barring murderers or dictators, without knowing them. Those are strong words. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yoko is not everyone's cup of tea. She's not really my cup of tea per se either. I just respect her because of John. And I realize, and I'm going to go out and say it, I don't care. I know there's a lot of people disagree, and you're entitled. Please tell me. But people think just because it's Yoko, they think that she can't sing. Now, look, first of all, her singing may not be for everybody. I myself, as I've said many times, am not a fan of the screaming, the yelling, the screeching, all that stuff that she does. That's not for me. But there's so many songs where she sounds so good on it. She sings in a nice voice. She sings sweet, and they're good songs. And she is a good songwriter. I'm sorry. There's really a lot of good songs that she wrote. She even helped John write the song "Oh My Love." Do you know the song "Oh My Love" on Imagine? It's a beautiful love. So she helped write that. John write that, and her lyrics are well thought out, poetic. You know, if you look at the lyrics of some of these things, they make you think. You know, people think that like somebody like Yoko Ono couldn't possibly be a great artist, a music artist. There are people who think like if you're, say, a singer, you can't be an actress. Like take Cher for example. When Cher first really got into acting, they thought, "Oh, this is ridiculous. Cher is a singer, not an actress," and she was great in films like Mask, and she was great in. Oh, I know the name of it. I just forget, Moonstruck, and then she won an award. So it doesn't mean that if you're an actor you can't sing too. People like laugh at that. It's a mentality thing people got. In Yoko's case, well, she's Asian. She's an avant-garde artist, or she doesn't have a recording career background. How could she write good music? You'd be surprised. You ever try your hand at something and you figure, hey, you're pretty good. Somebody never drew. They never tried drawing before, and they think, hey, actually, you're pretty good. They try photography, and they say you have a good eye for the camera. Well, that's how I feel about it. People just immediately disregard her. You know, knee jerk. John would have never got the Beatles back. It's that simple. He didn't believe in reunions. That's not true, and I know who you. This is Martin McGrath because he said that before. Martin, let me tell you something, okay? I've been through this before with you. You don't know what you're talking about. You think you know what you're talking about. Just because John Lennon said something in 1975 or 1980 doesn't mean he would have felt the same way in 2010 or something, you see. I mean, the Beatles themselves. There was a time when McCartney used to say, he used to do uh, a Muhammad Ali impersonation. He would say, the Beatles split in 69, and since then they've been doing fine. And if that question doesn't cease, ain't no one getting no peace. McCartney used to say that in 1975 or something, and now he's doing half his show, or three-quarters of his show, is all Beatles. You know what I mean? And he's been initiating these Beatle get-togethers and a new song and everything. So don't believe just because somebody says something doesn't mean they're going to be like that all the time. Okay? So please, just try to understand that. But then again, you just like to yank chains. That's what you don't even believe that necessarily, and I know you like to yank my chains, so that's what it is. So yeah. Anyway, and John always changed his mind quite a lot. Well, then you're in luck because I'm changing the name of I'm changing the name of the channel. You know what I mean? It's not going to be Movie Boomer. Let's see. Yeah, fill me in on that on the side. Text me that on the side, Beetle Babe. Thank you. Yes, Yoko was famous before she met John. She was famous as an avant-garde artist. She was very good in the underground arts. Yeah, she was. Does it really matter? I don't hear you saying anything about Linda McCartney doing stuff on her own or recording stuff like Susie and the Red Stripes or doing anything. Is it because she's not Asian or something? Or, what is it? She's not as unusual as Yoko was. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, okay, we're up to date. We're up to the moment. Okay, let's continue. What was the last movie you saw that really scared you? Um, I don't really get scared of horror movies. I think they're cool, but the most recent one was actually the very first Paranormal Activity because it creeped me out in a couple of scenes. You know, it was so inventive because it was effective by not really seeing anything or doing anything, but yet it still was creepy. But generally, not many. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. I'm just like waiting for comments. Let me turn this to whatever name you change your movie. Oh yeah, well it doesn't matter. You know, as I say, I don't have enough subscribers yet for it to make a difference on the movie channel. You see what I mean? I only got like 1,400 or so subscribers on the movie channel, so it doesn't matter really. You know, people are telling me if you change your movie channel name too much, it's going to confuse people and you're going to lose people. No, it won't. I don't think it hasn't established itself yet as anything really. So it's all right. Oh yeah, you're talking about the Dracula movie. I think it's out of theaters already, isn't it? The movie Last Voyage of I never had to say that. Last Voyage of the Demeter. It's the ship that Dracula took from Transylvania for his castle into England to find fresh victims. And that's a point that's always just referenced briefly. You know, Dracula has to get from Transylvania to England, and what he does is he takes a ship there and kills everybody aboard the ship, and then he goes to England. Well, the thing is, that's always glossed over, even in Bram Stoker's original novel and in a lot of the movies. But that movie was supposed to really, which was an interesting concept. Just make a movie just about the voyage and what Dracula does on there, how he kills everybody. No, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I wanted to see it in the movie theater, but I think it lasted like 15 hours in the movies or something. I heard it was pretty good, but I would like to see that at some point. I think I will get a copy of that and see it. Hello to James, and I'm having a good time here. You know, depending on how it goes, sometimes I'll shut it down a little bit, but this is going really well. I'm enjoying this, so let's go. Still got some energy. Woohoo! Still ready to go. Let us continue. The end, the Blair Witch Project, the end of the Blair Witch Project. It was kind of creepy at the end, but I don't get scared usually. Why did the songs from Milk and Honey not make it to Double Fantasy? Well, you can't put every song on there. I think the better songs generally are on uh, Double Fantasy. The John songs now we're talking about. I think the Yoko songs off Milk and Honey might be new recordings. Like I don't think I'm thinking I don't know about that. Somebody could check on that. I think Yoko's songs on Milk and Honey were kind of newly done, not from those Double Fantasy sessions or some of them. John's songs were not completed, though. You could tell that. I don't know. I don't know how I think upcoming shows in Oz. Yeah, yeah, the Demeter movie. But they got Dracula instead of just having Dracula walking around with his cape, going over and biting people in the neck. No, instead they have him as this big giant bat monster. They have to do that. I know that the Maypang movie, the Maypang Blu-ray, is coming out on physical media on October 13th. So anybody want to buy that physical media? It's coming out October 13th, same day as Ringo's EP, Rewind Forward. I do like the song "Let Me Count the Ways," that Yoko song. I like all that stuff that she does on there. Yeah, Mrs. Lennon. That's a great haunting song. It's beautiful. I mean, it really is. It's a talent. It really is. People don't want to believe that, but they don't listen. They hear like images of Yoko, screaming, squealing, and everything, and it's like, oh, that's all I want to know. I don't care about anything else. They don't even know. I was 18 when Double Fantasy came out. I was a little disappointed. I expected a little more from John, a little more biting stuff from John, but I did like watching the wheels and I'm losing you. But now I think it's funny that now I think that John's stuff on Double Fantasy is some of the best of his career, including the song "Woman" and "Beautiful Boy." I mean, watching the wheels, "Woman" and "Beautiful Boy" are three of John Lennon's classics, and they're on that album. So, "Death of Samantha," another Yoko song that is very popular, people like. Guess I get scared pretty easy. The idea of watching horror itself scares me. I guess. Well, it's supposed to. That's the idea of it, but I know it's all phony and fake, and after they say cut, they laugh and get up and go out for coffee. Well, I do forget starting over. I don't really like just like starting over John's song. I think it's really a little too like poppy poppy sounding. I mean, it's good for a hit, but it's not terrible. I don't hate it or dislike it. I should say. I said I didn't like it. I mean, I'm not wild about it. Let's put it that way. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah, he is relaxed and happy, but you get people with hidden agendas that want to pretend that he was faking, that he really wasn't. One thing John didn't do was fake things in his songs. Come on. Uh, I think you got something there. I think you got something there, Starman, about John. Too bad we'll never hear it. Not seen Talk to Me. I have watched Maniac from 1980 many times and slept like a baby every time afterwards. It's just a movie. It doesn't, for me personally, maybe you're talking other people. So I'm actually more of a Peter Noon fan. That's what got me to your channel. Okay. Well, yeah, starting over was a nod to Elvis, also Buddy Holly, and the 50s in general. John was a realist, and so am I. And sometimes being a realist gets you mistaken for other things today. You got to be a phony, a fake, a phony, a fraud in order to be accepted and in order to fit in. And that's a shame. Yeah, I think you're spelling that name wrong, though, Starman. It should be Semen. Yeah, the movie Maniac really benefits from that sleazy, sloppy look in Joe Spinell, and also the fact that it was so, you know, gritty. Yeah, like you said, gritty and dirty looking in New York. It really was well done. I don't know if Peter Noon's going to be coming on. I don't want to outdo a good thing. We had him on a few times, so okay, Danny, you're talking to the audience. I got you about the movie Maniac. 2000 Maniacs. Is that the movie The South is going to Rise Again? Is that the one I'm talking about? Or is that 2000 Maniacs? Or I think it is. Yeah, I like the movie. Herschel Gordon Lewis. Okay, folks. Yeah. I mean, it's not as powerful as it used to be. That's a movie again. I think it's from 1965. That movie, and it's like that was much more potent in the 60s. You didn't see a lot of slasher films and stuff then, so a lot of stuff was really like strong material back in the day. Yeah, I've heard about this, and it does make me wonder, Lee. Yeah, it does make me wonder. It had to be something pretty. I don't know. I don't know what word to use. I was going to say incriminating, but that's not the right word. Not incriminating, but something unflattering or something unflattering, if that's the case. But John was a human. What are you going to do? Yeah, people think Now and Then might be coming out in time for John Lennon's birthday on October the 9th, but nothing has been in concrete with that, so nobody really knows. It's just, you know, speculation. Yeah, H.G. Lewis, Herschel Gordon Lewis has some fun gore films. A lot of them make, I mean, it's gore for the sake of gore, really. Yeah. Stuff like The Wizard of Gore is unwatchable to me. I do like 2000 Maniacs, though. It's got a little bit of a story to it. A film like The Gore Girls is just gore and nothing else. Okay, I didn't know this. Jack has always inferred that the conversation on tape was specifically about life and death, and Jack Douglas erased it with a bad premonition about the unfolding events. Okay, maybe that is about life and death. Well, that's not as bad as saying something that really hurt John or tarnish him or his reputation more or something. It's so pathetic. I gotta say, uh, somebody sent me something that said it was an article that was from online, and it said 24 people, historic historic people that are historical, but really, I forget the term, were not good people. They weren't good people, and they had Mother Teresa on there, and also John Lennon. He's one of the people. John had his flaws. That's why people loved him, and he admitted them. He admitted them all. But people go overboard with that. Completely, they really go overboard, and it's a shame. I say it's a shame about a lot of these things. So, all right, where are we at here? We're up to almost 90 minutes here. So, I'm having a good time with this. A lot of good comments and questions. So, let's see how much longer it goes. I might end it because I don't like generally these question and answer things. I don't like to go on more than an hour, hour and a half tops. I have not seen the movie Bats with Lou Diamond Phillips. No, I have not seen that. Okay. Thank you very much, Robbie. Glad to see you enjoying it. And again, now is a good time to say, too, that I'm going to be doing this again next Saturday. I should be planning on it around the same time. It could be 3 o'clock Eastern. It could be 4 o'clock Eastern or 5 o'clock, 3, 4, or 5 p.m. Eastern. Something like that, depending. But I'll be back here. And then after that, I'm going to have to switch it to Sunday mornings again. at like 9:30 a.m. Eastern for a while, but it'll change. Sometimes I'll be here at late afternoon on Saturday. Sometimes I'll be Sunday morning very early. So, all right. So I'm going to start to say thank you and goodbye for now, just for now, and we'll meet again. Thank you all for watching the channel. You're all the best. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. I'm on the cusp of 14,000 subscribers. Last time I checked, I needed like, I think, one or two subscribers. And if anybody wants to watch us say, I'll fix him, I'll unsubscribe. Yeah, I'll make it up in no time, in a week or so. But anyway, you know, yeah. So thank you all. It means a lot. And yeah, check out my movie channel and movie and TV channel. Some of it you'll like, some of it might not be all for you. Like when I do the Saw 10 review, a lot of people say I don't want to see that or know about that. That's okay. I'll do something else another time. All right. Thank you all for being here, and I'll be here again next Saturday at this time. If not sooner. Sometimes I do surprise live streams. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you click the bell. Um, you know, and glad to see some new names here too, although I love everybody else just as much. And I'll see you again before you know it.